Welcome, my friends, to another edition of Art Studio Weekly with your host, as always, Troy. On the road, broke, penniless, homeless, trying to avoid catching a disease and dying during a great pandemic. I'm coming to you live from the great city of Grand Rapids, Michigan, a state that this week has reopened for restaurants. I mean, during a pandemic, we have like a contagious virus and you've got a setting where people are coming in all day, licking spoons and spitting into cups and plates, and then you have restaurant workers who touch that and take it to other people all day long. What could possibly go wrong? Well, I'm not in the studio again this week, as you can see, but I do studio work. So I am working on a couple of things that I wanted to show you. I've been on the road, so it's been hard to paint with acrylics, so I got some pastels. I don't know if I'll show you anything that I've done because I'm not really happy with any of them. But for the most part, what I like about pastels isn't necessarily what I'm creating. It's more that it's giving me like a really good lesson in color theory that to mix paints in like with acrylic or oil, and that takes a lot of work. But if you've got the colors in front of you in these pastel colors, there's so many. There's probably at least 30 different colors in front of me. I'm really getting a sense of what I like to work with color-wise. It's not like I haven't been doing that before, but it seems to be a process that's speeding up. It's like speed dating with color, and I've enjoyed it. I don't know that pastels, and it kind of reminds me of charcoal a little bit. It smears too easily, so I'm definitely an acrylic person, but that's something. It's a good mobile thing to work with. I don't know if anybody out there watching this has ever done it. Send me some photos. I'd like to see what you work with. So one of the projects I've been working on that I really like is street art photography. So I've been reading this book on semiotics, which is the study, there's going to be a better definition of this, but it's the study of signs in society, not just like literal street signs, but also like language, communication can be a sign, and so there's all different, it gets really complicated with all these philosophers talking about semiotics, and they've got signifiers and what's being signified and the different stages of thought and the ability to interpret signs, and you've got interpreters and all that. So it's really interesting, but I came upon this one page in the book where they gave an example of how things mean something to us. Like if something that we see that we take for granted. So for example, they gave this example. They showed a picture of two restroom doors, and above one of them it said ladies, and above the other one it said gentlemen. And how that signified something that you don't even need to experience firsthand to know what's going on behind those doors, we think. And I was really struck by that. And so since then, all week I've been walking around these neighborhoods, mostly Heritage Hill, mostly Cherry Hill, I think it's called. And I've been sort of just taking pictures of different doors, particularly doors like this one. So this is an apartment unit that's split up into two different apartments, and I got to thinking about like the meaning behind these numbers for somebody. These numbers mean basically nothing to me, but to the people who have lived there or do live there or will live there, these doors and these numbers are going to be very significant. And I was kind of struck by that idea of not just how things can mean something to us in such a subtle way, but also just sort of like, how we can sort of be tied to them in a deeper sense. And so I've been going around taking pictures of those, and what I want to do is put those pictures into a frame and then hang them up on the streets in these neighborhoods, and maybe like just take a small ladder and step up on a telephone pole or a tree, and then hang these photos from the tree or the pole, and then people can sort of look at them. Maybe even people who recognize those doors will will sort of be moved to think like, why did this person take a photo of my door? You know, I think that's how things start anyway. I would like to take the literal picture of a restroom door. I think that would be interesting to do different bathroom settings and have different restrooms, and maybe that's how people gain sort of notoriety by having like one thing. You take a bunch of pictures of toilets, toilet doors, water closet doors, and pretty soon you got something, because people will be looking around thinking like, who's taking these pictures of restroom doors and hanging them up around? Does anybody know what's going on there? You could even start that yourself by going into a cafe where there's one nearby. You know, you put on a little fake mustache, maybe put on some sunglasses and be like, oh, so anybody seen these toilet room doors around here? What's going on with that? And people will be like, oh, I haven't seen that, but I'll look for it. Or they would say, oh, I know that. And like, yeah, I guess this guy's really taken off. Or girl. Or whatever. But anyway, it's a fun idea. I might get to it. So that's pretty much what I've been working on in the studio right now. I really think with the summertime I can start to push more of the works on the street. Like last year I did those post-it note sculptures, which I liked, but were very fragile and were destroyed pretty quickly. So maybe I could do this toilet idea. It's already in the shitter. Oh. All right, so that's all I got for you this week in the studio. That's what I'm working on. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you're working on. And take care, folks. See you next week.